Good evening, friends. Welcome back to Plot Points. I am your Dungeon Master for tonight, DM Legend, and I want to welcome you to the finest of players on the internet. Let me start off by introducing to you Indiana Blaze in the lower left of your screen. Brock, take it away. Introduce yourself. Get everybody hyped up.
Hello, everyone. I am Brock. I'll be playing the character Blaze. Currently, he's going to be performing under the show stage name of Indiana Blaze, where he will be performing some spectacular events with his whip that he has. Hope you are very much entertained. Stay tuned and watch, and I'm going to pass it on off to Katrin.
Hello, everyone. I am Anna Valerious, and for our tonight's circus performance, you'll get to see all sorts of death-defying feats with jumping and acrobatics and marksmanship and all sorts of fun stuff with my wonderful partner, Den of Wolves.
Hey guys, I'm Den of Wolves, also Michael, also Oreo X Wolf, depending on where you're seeing me. I'm going to be trying to do a bunch of crazy flips with disappearing platforms and throwing daggers because I am a circus folk now. Along with our apparently flaming phoenix bird. Eric, just go ahead and take it.
Cool.
Hey
guys, I'm Eric. I'm playing Griffin, as always, our wonderful Arakocra. And yeah, his performance tonight is burning alive. So super excited to see what's going to happen, and hopefully nobody dies. Because we were discussing that nobody dies at a circus, right, Mike? Nobody dies.
Nobody dies at a circus.
So, but super excited. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with all of us and all of our wonderful performances. So.
That is the theory. Nobody dies at a circus. We might end up having to change the name of that to the name of the stream to that tonight. We'll find out as a little time goes on. But I want to welcome you.
You have that fan effect going again.
It has returned.
How? My speakers are off.
You're a robot. Confirmed.
He is now Ultron tonight.
Is the fan effect still there? If anybody in chat hears it too, let me know. But what?
There we go. Sounds much better.
That is really bizarre. I don't know why that happened there because my speakers are off. All right. Well, hey, with no further ado, the night's grown a little bit colder. The stars overhead a little bit dimmer as some mist has come in. The woods seem a little bit still, but the crackling of the fire is still warm as the four of you sit around it. There's a strange sound of an overly large bird out in the woods, but you recognize it. It's your friend, Griffin, who comes out of the woods to the fire. Take it away.
Whew, shite. I really needed to piss there. But I'm glad I'm back. Did anybody miss me?
No one missed you.
As usual.
If you didn't drink so much, you probably wouldn't have to pee so much.
Listen, this has been a problem. Well, I can't help that I still have this drinking problem. It's just, it is part of me. It's my special perk, my personality. Oh, kind of reminds me of the one night, though. I remember that circus.
Oh, yes. Not sure what we were thinking there.
I'm not sure what you were thinking there.
Yeah, well, I was thinking I was with a bunch of guys that were not human in a city that was mostly human, and we needed a way to fit in.
Oh, we fitted in all right.
Yeah, we definitely didn't stand out with that performance.
We were the stars of the show!
Yeah,
And
sure.
That was the exact
It achieved the
way.
desired effect.
And that was the exact way you had been announced. Featuring tonight, when we think about fitting in, the Magnificent Misfits. That was what all the criers have been proclaiming, to bring you all in to see this magnificent troupe of misfit individuals who fit in perfectly at the circus. At least that's the way Arimathea touted all of you. You'd gone through all the preparations over the next few hours so that your show could go off without a hitch. You'd already discovered that so much of the circus is theatrics. There is skill, there is talent, but much like wrestling, the talent comes not in sheer force, but in how to make something appear more dramatic than it might be without truly damaging somebody. And thus, all the ideas leading up to this grand finale were going to happen in the main tent tonight. A two-poled, massive structure with giant stripes going down the side had been erected in the lower city, the city in shadow, with heaven floating in the mysterious dark clouds above. You had set up, and you could still see as the light dimmed out to the east where it was going down. Of course, you all were already in darkness. That's what the city in shadow was all about. The darkness, as the city above blotted everything out. A strange scent comes from somewhere near the center of the city in shadow, but you'd already been warned nobody goes there, nobody lives there. All of your individuals would be coming in from this outskirts. Like I said, the city is built almost like a donut, staying out of the shadow. Coming in from that area, more towards the docks and whatnot, in towards where this circus tent is. The crowd had been filling. This circus had offered for one night only and then one morning to follow. This amazing show at no charge to the populace. Sure, they would be charging at the various tents for vendors and things like that, and you guys had even walked around a little bit as the circus had opened up, and you saw them, the vendors, hawking their wares, getting people to come in, games and toys and mysteries. And then, of course, there was the freak show, little individuals who had, some were more real than others, but it was a show, and people laughed and people loved it. Some people were horrified by it, but it was all good. It was the circus. Before you, Granic had led in elephants. There had been lions. There had been the wonders that come with a circus. Individual jugglers, laughter, so much. And now she had gotten to this main event. The true temptation. The lights dim inside the tent. And you're all ushered out very quickly to your starting positions. Anna climbs up in the shadows. Den of Wolves, hardly even using the ladder, launches up towards the very ceiling, up high. No one could see you yet, no lights on you. And you knew that the lights would come on brighter than ever. Magic. The circus is filled with it. Not just theatrical magic, but real, tangible magic. And perhaps that's what Anna saw in each of you. As it opens up, and two gigantic lights come zooming in, highlighting and spinning around Anna up there in the peaks, and the crowd goes, wow, seeing her balancing on this rope. And as if that couldn't be topped, another set of lights comes up to reveal Den of Wolves. And what theatrical beginning do you have, Den of Wolves?
I am trying to do a handstand at the edge of, I'm assuming it's like a little platform. So right at the edge, I'm just gonna try to do a handstand and just balance myself there for the lights.
Jumping up onto your hands, holding on with your claws into this little 3-foot board square. The crowd roars in excitement, seeing you, your tail twitching. And they see this. And you know that your beginning performance is as much acrobatics as it is the precision that will come. Now, she had gone over with you that you would be outdoing one another. Down below, Indiana Blaze, with everybody looking up, and she had taught you this. Circus is so much misdirection. Everybody's looking up at the two performers above, giving time for Indiana Blaze to bring out and have his crew setting up torches and other things. The Arakocra is already getting ready. They're slowly painting back over certain feathers and whatnot, trying not to coat him too heavy, talking about timelines and things like this. But Anna, now with the crowd's full attention on both of you, how would you outdo Den of Wolves?
Oh, it's pretty easy. They have all those different magical birds that they had flying around, and we're gonna use magical arrows that, when they hit the birds, kind of do like a little firework. So I've got my bow and arrow out, and as I'm jumping around from different disc to different disc, I'm shooting at the different birds and getting all these little poof, little firework things. Poof.
Anna immediately launches from her platform, taking a shot. I will need you to roll both an attack dice and an acrobatics dice to see how you do with this as your show increases in skill. The first two are easy jumps that get the crowd going over this perilous fall of an easy 30 feet. Anna jumps, clearing things, going harder and harder to these little platforms that seem smaller and smaller. And her shots are right on each and every time. The birds exploding in illusionary feathers. And how do you top that, Den of Wolves?
Since I'm already in a handstand, I'm gonna like stick one arm out like I'm booing her, like easy stuff, and then I'm just gonna like fall forward like it was an accident. I couldn't balance with one hand, and do like a little flip, and then just throw 2 daggers at 2 of the birds, and continue doing the same flips and jumps that she's doing.
Make a performance roll for me, please. The fall forward is easy as you roll forward off the edge. Daggers coming out into your hands. Flip, flip, the daggers fly through the air. You landing on a small platform, launching up. You have the crowd going wild as they now realize, as much as you're a team, they're also supposed to choose one or the other. And Arimathea's voice down below seems to echo off of the tent as if whatever magic she was using made the entire tent a speaker. And she talks about each one of you, talking about, oh, who is better? Who is this? Who should be the star of the circus? How will you outdo him, Anna?
Oh my goodness. So I definitely got to make this more difficult. So I get up to the trapeze and I start swinging on the trapeze. And as I'm swinging on the trapeze, I hang upside down and then start shooting the birds some more. So we get some more fireworks going, but I'm upside down swinging on the trapeze as I do it now.
Make a performance roll and an attack check, please.
Performance is not a good one for me.
It certainly is tonight. The crowd loves it as Anna is jumping from platform to platform and then misses one platform. And as she falls, her legs hook on this trapeze just like she planned. And she swings forward, shooting the arrows. But as she's shooting, whether it was on purpose or by design, her arrows miss. And some of the birds fly away and flutter and go soaring down right near the Tabaxi. What will you do? They're definitely on about Anna now, Den of Wolves.
Continuing the jumps, I'm gonna make my way towards where she's swinging, and then I'm gonna get just enough that I can jump over her as she's swinging towards me, and throw back 2 knives, one in front of her and one behind her at the birds following.
Ooh, I love it. Go for an acrobatics check and an attack roll. 2 attack. Yeah, just 1 attack roll is fine.
Okay.
Beautiful. Launching, no problem. Falling in, the birds seem right in front of you. And these birds, magical
They're so
as they
close.
are, seem to like tuck in and launch. And you realize, as much as the show is working for you, Arimathea's focus is on getting the crowd to go wild. And the closer you two are, where one misses and the other misses, the crowd is just eating this up. Your daggers fly off to unknown parts as you do this. You know, down below, Blaze, you see all this happening above you. You see the way the crowd is getting excited and whatnot as they jump from platform to platform shooting these things. And you notice that some of the birds are missing. I would also like you to make a perception roll for me.
Alrighty.
One of the things that you noticed was these illusions are so real that those first birds that each of them hitting, the feathers would actually fall all the way to the ground. I mean, they are pristine illusions all the way down. I mean, there is not just, oh, it flashes in the sparks and whatnot, the way Anna had pictured. Oh, yes, her arrows seem to do that, but the birds themselves seem to come. It's amazing. What's the first part of your show, Blaze?
Well, what they're going to do for me is the spotlight's going to snap on to where I'm at from two different directions. And I'm going to be standing there, and I'm going to have my head tucked down so that all you see is the top of my hat. And then I slowly raise up, and you see me standing there with my hand on my whip, ready to draw.
Anna's up above, swinging along the trapeze, going from edge to edge as the lights shift, zooming down onto Indiana Blaze below. Arimathea's voice says, and this is only the beginning. This is only part of the show. Watch as Indiana Blaze brings a fire to this entire spectacle before you. And the crowd goes wild that this is all. They look to you, Indiana Blaze. What's first?
They've provided me with these little saucers. And so I have my whip drawn, and I begin throwing them up in the air and whipping my whip, cracking my whip and just shattering them into pieces.
Blaze starts cracking his whip at these different things. Make an attack roll for me, please. Crack, crack! First one, then another. The plates start to shatter. But the crowd isn't excited yet. But you had been prepared for this. She had told you how to make that slow burn. What? Some things on things? Oh yeah, there's some spattered applause and whatnot. But it seems almost like they're caught between the act going on above and you. And that's when the little gnomes start walking out, carrying poles, moving the plates. And you knew this was where it's going to start getting more interesting. Some of the gnomes have them up high. Crack, you shatter it, and the crowd laughs as the plates fall down around their heads. And some of the gnomes pretend to, cover themselves. But then the poles get shorter and shorter till finally one plate is literally just balanced on this makeshift hat above one gnome's head. Make an attack roll for me now. Smack! You not only crack the plate, it shatters, and the gnome rolls forward in laughter, jumps up springing, and the crowd loves this. They love the danger element included. And of course, what could be better in danger than flames? And Katrin, Anna had been prepared for this. Den of Wolves had been prepared for this. The birds have all scattered now. But down from the ceiling comes a set of lanterns. And Arimathea points their attention to the sky above and says, the first one to be able to release the flames shall be our champion of the high top. And there's 3 lanterns that are coming down. They all appear to be equal between you. Den of Wolves on one side, Anna on the other side. What are your plans?
Well, while the lanterns are coming down, I'm still trying to get some more crowd involvement. So I nod and they begin throwing these sheepskins filled with water up into the air, but close enough, just at the right distance at the tip of my whip, but close enough to the audience as I crack and pop them, the water begins to spray the first few rows.
Make a performance roll for us.
Flashstone.
All right.
You do it, and it goes off as if he'd been doing this his entire life. These little gnomes who had been rolling around had secretly gotten these water balloons that were staged at the edge of the wall, start throwing them into the air, and down below, Blaze starts cracking it, and the crowd goes wild as they get sprayed. These little sheep stomachs ripping open to throw water on everybody there, splashing them. And it's amazing. They're laughing. They're loving it. Arimathea kind of looks, having tried to draw their attention up, and now the crowd is, of course, back and forth. There's less attention on you, Anna, and Den of Wolves. How will you get it back?
Good question.
I flip over you, you fire under me, and I'll throw daggers. We got this.
All right, there we go. and Actually, I could probably, if you come under me, I can grab your ankles and we can be swinging together. Me hanging upside
right,
down
you're
on the
still swinging.
trapeze. Yeah,
She's
Yeah, we'll do that.
yeah. There we go. And then you can be throwing your daggers.
Make a performance roll for me, both of you. This will be a group check. To see.
Thank God we're both experts at performance, right? Right?
So far. Ooh, whoa.
You're funny.
So we're not tested for the acrobatics.
grabbed you
I know
at
you're
least.
both good. Yeah, the acrobatics. You guys are great. Bam, it goes off without a hitch. But as Den of Wolves is thrown up into the sky, his natural cat instinct takes over and he wants to twist the right way, and it ends up looking like this crazy cat sneeze, flop, spine thing in the air. And rather than looking like this super elegant throw, it's like, what the heck is happening there? Make your attack roll with disadvantage due to the low performance.
Oh my.
Oh, man.
Are you trying for all three?
Come on,
or just two?
Den
or
of
one?
Wolves.
I think just one was my
Yeah,
guess.
one was probably aiming high enough.
One of those was good.
Oh, good golly.
Well,
Why did that come up as a 0? It should have came
Yeah,
up.
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
My disadvantage had an 8 plus 6. Huh?
and we should see 2 rolls anyway if you're rolling with disadvantage.
Oh, you know what? It might have freaked out because I rolled 2 dice at once. It has a
Oh.
disadvantage option. Let's see.
Yeah, just roll twice.
Oof,
Same number.
There you
anyways,
go.
so-
That's better.
that's much better.
I think it
It's
freaked
zero.
out because it has a disadvantage option, so you can roll both the dice at the same time, but I don't think it could transfer the information properly.
Yeah.
So you do this, you
14.
fly off, taking off one of the flames, and as it goes, the oil inside the lantern seems to scatter, sending this spray of sparks and flames that fall down towards the ground below. How will you get the next lantern, Anna?
Hold on, Sean.
Well-
I just wanted to shout this out right now. I don't even know how to pronounce that. That's not
Oh
luck.
no,
Redeemed Kerfuffle's
Colton!
Wild Magic Surge.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
Colton
Okay.
is messing with people now.
Nice.
So, while after I let him go, I then get my bow and arrow back out, and I aim for, I aim for the other 2 remaining. I go for 2 so that we can hopefully get all 3.
Oh, she pulls out her special double arrow. I need
Aha.
2 things to happen. I need Den of Wolves to make an acrobatics check. I need Anna to make an attack roll. And I need a
Okay.
third thing. Actually, I need Blaze to make his attack roll because now those little flames are falling to the ground. So Den of Wolves
My dice love me.
gets a 7. Oh my.
Nah.
A 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fun.
Oh, I'm throwing plot points on his. Good golly. No. He can't have that one.
How many plot points are you throwing on him?
Let's see. It gave him a 7. I'll give him 5 plot points. That'll
Yeah, I'll
take me
just
down to
match
20
you.
left because yeah.
I'll throw 5 in as well. So we can
So
knock
now I
out the
have 20
17.
plot points left because you didn't add my 2 that you gave me earlier.
So what's that total come to?
17 because we added 10 between
Yep.
5 and 5.
All right.
As he
I'm
falls,
going to add 10 to mine because what I'm trying to do is throw my whip out there, hook the one, and pull it into the other, therefore crash them together and explode them.
all right. So Anna, you spent 10.
No, I spent 5.
You spent
and
5, I
Hannibal
spent 5.
spent 5, but I should have 20 now.
Oh, you
And
were
I
at
have
23, but
No, you gave us 2 earlier.
oh, yep, I did not add that.
I
in
should
there,
have
so thank you.
20.
Perfect.
No,
thank
I
you.
should have 20.
I am agreeing with you. Give me a moment, Mike. So you were up to 10. You spent 5. That puts you at 5. Chevy, what do you got?
Spending 10.
Spending 10, and you were up to 30, so that leaves you at 20. Okay. And Griff, I gotta add those 2 to you as well. Because I said it, but I forgot to add them. There you go. Beautiful. So part of the show is that these little platforms that you've been jumping off of and doing different things disappears, and it seems like the Tabaxi is falling, but only till he gets to the other trapeze that was hanging there, and easily he swings up and starts going once more. I didn't get a chance to see what your attack roll was, though, Anna.
25?
You rolled a 5?
No, 25? I rolled a 17.
Oh, I don't see
25
that
is my
anywhere.
roll. I don't know. I saw it go up.
No, I had a performance up there. I'm looking in Roll20 right now. There's nothing there. So,
Huh.
yep.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all
I
right.
got a 25.
So
Not sure
wonderful.
why.
The arrows split off, shattering these 2 at the same time, shattering all these sparks and these flames following. And as Blaze continues to snap his whip quickly, cracking out these little flames, Aramithea says, in a panic, you can hear her say, "Oh no, there's too many falling at once. There's no way. The crowd will be covered in flames." And Griffin, you know that's your clue to get in and stop these flames. How are you going to do it?
Wonderful. So, Griffin catches the cue, and before he takes flight, he takes one last swig of that flask that was given to him under the table by, I believe it was Aramithea who gave it to him.
Oh, God.
One last swig, throws it on the ground, and it's just like, okay, here we go. Obviously nervous, and shoots up into the air. As he sees these flames, he's aiming with his eye, one eye opens, like, and tries to go straight into the path to gather all that flame that's falling at the same time.
Wow. So you go following, and what are you capturing all the flame in?
Himself?
I'm spread eagle, literally, with my wings, right? And hopefully catching all the flames as I fly underneath them with my wingspan, causing a nice short flash of in the darkness.
Flying on his back, these flames fall down, falling into him, specially prepared in advance. His inner wings coated with this covering to catch the little bits of lantern light that would fall. Real flame caught up by him. And then he swoops down to the bottom, having captured this all together into what looks like a wizard's fireball, thanks to these catchers that he has and a successful, performance before him. And now you have this, and you know this is supposed to ignite your section of where you put the flames out into the water. All the while, Blaze is down below, still cracking the other little bits from that first show. And the gnomes are coming out now with candles on their head, even closer than the plates. Up above, Anna and Den of Wolves crouch down, the lights coming off of them to circle as if trying to chase after you, Griffin. What are you going to do next?
Griffin is at this moment flying the circumference of the actual tent with, I'm going to try and be descriptive here, with small embers following his trail around the entire place. Not like crazy embers where it's going to light the place on fire, hopefully not, but flying over the crowd, giving them a nice show. But he's going to, I guess at this point, do some sort of like spins and kind of dodge in case somebody wants to shoot at me. I don't know. You all have been shooting birds tonight. Griff is a little off put by that. But I'm assuming the barrels do a barrel roll. But I'm assuming the barrels are out, right?
Yeah.
So Griff at this point wants to shoot, what's it called? Shoot firebolt inside of the barrels of water to create these channels of steam coming up.
Before you do that, what are you going to do with the big lump of flame that you've gathered by capturing all these things together, that fireball-y type thing that you've captured?
Fireball-y thing?
Remember you captured all these little ones and using the magic that was inside your wings that they had coated you with and whatnot?
Oh, I thought that was just supposed to light me on fire.
No, that'll be
okay.
The plan is for Blaze to do that at the end, to light you on fire just after you've been safe.
Oh, okay.
The Flaming Phoenix is not born yet, but you could use it that way if you want to change the show. Absolutely. it's all about your intent. You're the one that drank from the flask.
Oh no, I'm
So
all about going with the flow with Blaze there. So I'm gonna take that fireball, right? I'm gonna take that fireball and like hover in the center of the whole stage, right, with the fireball, and then just shoot it to the ground so it dissipates into the ground and like does like a cool kind of thing.
wonderful. Our drunken Griffin, who's drinking from this flask, which is incredibly strong alcohol. Literally, it's like little nips here and there, man. It'll lay out. And you down the rest of it, threw it to the ground, and you're feeling it now, man. You feel like you could breathe fire. You take this fire up from the middle of the tent, and instead of going to any of the buckets to put it out, and all the little gnomes that have been running around have pulled out these big barrels of water and whatnot, you send it crashing down into the middle of the tent and whatnot on the floor, right where the main ring is, and it scatters and spreads out, and you see this flame spread out to about 10 or 15 feet, and as all the little bits of oil and whatnot that were captured inside his wing together are now just like hurling a couple flasks of oil across the middle of the ground. Blaze, you see this, and there's no way that you could snap out a little flame like this. Some of the other gnomes run away. Maybe it's part of the show that you didn't realize and whatnot, and people run off to get buckets and whatnot. In the meantime, the Arakocra, the flaming phoenix, who has no flame, is up above. You have these candles in front of you now. Anna, Den of Wolves. You guys know that you all made your own preparations for the different things. Perhaps he made his own preparations for this as well.
Or perhaps our friend is drunk again.
Do I have one of those barrels of water within reach of me?
There is one within whip reach, if you really
Okay,
wanted
I'm
to.
gonna crack that whip and try to catch the edge of the barrel and pull it over and dump the water, and hope that helps alleviate some of that flame.
Moment later, you grab on, latch it on, yank it over as part of the show. Make a strength roll, because they're barrels of water. They're kind of heavy, so.
Make a what? Strength?
Yes. Now that 25 attack, or you're typing it in, I guess.
That was a while ago.
It literally just came through on the screen. Roll 20 must be going that slow. So, Blaze, you, and you're like, but you're able to tip it over, and the water goes cascading across your feet, barely reaching to the edge of the flames, just because it's like getting it off the ground wasn't as much. But you can go for another one in a moment, where one of the other gnomes has a smaller bucket rather than this big one. Den of Wolves, Anna, you're up above. You see this happen. You see the frame spread out. What are your intents?
I might. Let me see if this would work.
In the meantime,
You think Ray of Frost would put out the fire?
I think it couldn't hurt.
All right, I'm gonna Ray of Frost it then.
Okay, you cast Ray of Frost. And I would like you to roll a D15,000 for me, please.
Oh my goodness.
1,000.
That's crazy.
Oh God.
Yeah, I put some of the tables together.
Slash roll B 1 5 1 2 3.
Actually, at 15,312 right now in this particular setup. And you got 10,831. Let me look.
Oh God.
I bet you
that's right.
D15,000
when you do
before.
this, are you still hanging from the trapeze?
Yeah, because I haven't gotten down.
Oh man.
Okay. Immediately, you feel something tickling your feet.
Oh, jeez.
How does Anna reply? You feel these little things going all over your feet.
I look.
You look down and you see all these blue little balls with like little tendrils rolling all across your feet and whatnot, and they're like scrambling all over your feet.
Oh my goodness.
You're not taking.
Do they kind of look like those little ash things in Howl's Castle thingy? But
Sure.
blue?
I like that. I love that. They're all over. What you have is for the next 2d4 days, you are walking on interplanar creatures that will always be under your feet, causing movement difficulties. Your movement is halved, and you will have disadvantage on any acrobatics check. Obviously, that will involve your feet. I'm not going to have it while you're hanging upside down by your knees. So for the next 5 days.
Oof.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not days. 5 hours. 5 hours.
Oh.
Oh,
2d4
oh.
hours.
Damn.
And look again, I was like, yeah, that
Damn.
is
Little
severe. And I'm
better.
like, no, it is 5
Yeah.
hours.
Oh.
So,
Man.
Oh, that's a little better.
I was like, oh. But yeah, so there you go. There's the first wild magic of the night. And that was actually a leftover from the last game where it had been bought by one of our individuals. So we still have one
Oh,
more coming
that's
on the
right.
next spell.
Oh,
So-
man.
Griffin, you said after you did that, your very next thing was to cast Firebolt?
What?
Not fireball. Not fireball.
Bolt. Bolt.
Oh yeah, fireball. I thought you said fireball. I was like, oh, wait a second, what?
Firebolt is what I had
Um,
heard you say, so.
Yeah, firebolt. So Griffin sees all this fire happening. He's like, well, this was technically part of the plan.
That's it.
So he's like, cool, let's keep going. More fire than we thought. So he's gonna cast fireball into these barrels as he was planning, hopefully creating these channels of steam.
Make a performance roll for me, please.
Oh man. All right, there we go. Rolling now. All right. Booyah.
Beautiful. You start going down low, capturing, as they have all this water out, and some of the gnomes who are running with buckets, you even shoot your firebolts into them and whatnot. I need you to make a D15,000 roll for me, please.
Oh God, that's right. Okay. So how am I typing this out? It's roll slash
It's slash roll.
roll. There we go. That makes
Space
sense.
D,
D,
15,000. In fact, you can type
15,000.
15,312 if you really want, but.
Well, why not? 15, 3, 1.
There's
2.
only a few high ones in our kerfuffle table. We took out most of the extremes. In fact, it's actually set up into 3 columns. But in fact,
Slash
after
roll.
it, roll a D20 for me. Let's see.
Okay.
We're going to give yours the
Is-
opportunity to have the extremes.
You said right after roll, it's a space or no
Yeah.
space? Okay.
Space.
D,
D
15312.
15 312. Come on. There it is, and a D20.
And that's going to check for the extremes. We're going to give yours the opportunity to do extreme just because it's fun. And
All
we're
right.
in the normal range, so I got 3146. One moment.
This will be good.
Do you wear clothes? As a bird?
At the moment, he is. Griffin's not wearing clothes right now.
Everybody within 500 feet has every buckle and snap open up. People's pants start falling off. Blaze, your stuff starts falling off. Then a wool. Anybody who's wearing anything with a buckle, a snap, or anything, it opens. Suddenly,
Nice.
people who were nervous, the gnomes trying to get water to the fire, start falling over. His pants fall down. Other people have this. Your quiver that was maybe snapped onto you, Anna, might fall. Anything you can imagine, it's cast within 500 feet, which encompasses all of the tent plus other things in the circus. Everything pops open, as
Man.
everywhere, instantaneously. And
My
in the meantime,
performance blew everybody's pants off.
Yeah.
I love that.
the show that will guaranteed to blow your pants off. And immediately, steam starts going up as you go around, boom, 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 and whatnot. And then, as if in the finality, you hit this one barrel, and there's an explosion of flame as the entire thing goes up, rocketing towards the ceiling.
Oh.
In the meantime, I need Brock to make, for Blaze, 3 attack rolls on these candles.
And this is why.
The
We
DC
should
goes
let
up
him
on
drink.
each one.
This
So
is
for
what
the
I call a
first
show.
one, is that standing, Brock? We'll do each one first.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the first one, Brock goes out, grabs to whip this one little gnome, and ends up grabbing the whole gnome rather than putting the candle out, and flings this gnome flying through the air towards Griffin, who is flying, and spirals out of the way as he's lighting all these other things. The explosion hasn't happened. There's a little overlay here. you're lighting all this steam going up, and suddenly there's this gnome flying at you. You spiral over. The next one, Brock, you flip this candle right out, and it's right near his head, and the last guy has one of those little teacup handles. It's like you're going to be scalping him to try to hit, and that would be the 13. Does that number stand?
Yeah, the 13's the last one.
Beautiful.
Lucky.
Brock ends up, as he goes out, misses, and with this one having already thrown one gnome, the whip smashes across the gnome's face, sending the gnome falling across the ground. You up above, Griffin, while your feet are being tickled, Anna, Griffin, you're starting to dodge this one, and it's that last firebolt that seems to have caught this barrel, and I want you to make a perception roll for me.
All right. There we go. There you go.
The firebolt left your hand perfectly aimed at this thing, as at the last minute you're like, that barrel looks different. And that's when this explosion goes off. Literally sending fire and flame from this barrel filled with oil everywhere. There's screams across the tent as people try to get out, but they can't because most of them have their pants down around their legs. People are trying to get out of the bleachers. It's chaos as flame shoots up into the sky. And Anna, even from where you and Den of Wolves are, you can immediately feel the heat rising, not only from the fire right beneath you in the middle of the ring, right below where you're swinging back and forth, both of you, but now off to the one side where Gronic had led the elephants out. Flames erupt, covering some of the people. Some people are already damaged by flame. There's other things going on. What do you do?
I guess we burned to death.
No.
Thanks, Griff. Thanks.
I've still got the plan. Don't worry. It's okay.
Oh, can't hear you, Mike. You're on mute.
I'm trying to figure out how to get off a trapeze with my pants around my ankle.
Right?
You might not know yet if you're swinging like her, unless you were standing up. Maybe you were standing on the trapeze and they fell down.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm hanging upside. They might have gotten a good view of,
Oh yeah. Well, not only your view, but I was thinking the crowd might like his if they weren't running for their lives. I don't think anybody's worried about what nakedness there is right now.
That's the
Just
last
trying
thing
to
on
get off
everybody's
the
mind.
trapeze and down and probably away from fire.
With a disadvantage roll, you're going to try to use this trapeze to get over to one of the poles, the same pole that you scaled to get up. So it's a fairly high DC, and you have disadvantage because your pants are down. And other things, whatever other buckles, just...
Right?
Is that your final? So you have
the 15.
Is that your final number?
Yeah.
Okay. You jump over, leap over, miss what you were going for, and literally you're doing that kind of cat scratch thing, and you're able to catch something about 10 feet down with one of your claws, swing around, and get onto this pole safely. Anna,
Nice.
what is your intent to try and get to safety? You can feel the heat whelming up over you right now. I don't know what kind of buckles have gone on you. You said you're giving everybody a show?
Well, I'm because you said buckles, snaps. I'm assuming it's every type of closure that there is.
Yeah, pretty much. You got it.
So obviously, clothes have,
any securing fixture, including everything on bodies as well. Yep.
So I'm not even sure whatever the equivalent of a bra would be still on me because.
That mean the tent's collapsing?
I was just wondering the same thing as I read that again,
Right?
Brock. I was like, I wonder if.
The buckles on the tent. Oh god.
I was actually wondering about rope ties.
I
I was like,
Does that count?
I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna let rope ties stand.
Okay.
I'm gonna call that not a fixture.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think.
DM, so that's my call. The rope structure can stay.
Yeah, I need to get down, so I'm gonna look for a spot that hopefully there's the least amount of fire or possibly no fire to kind of swing to and leap and grab and get down.
So I described you as being about 30 feet up. So you're trying to
Okay.
leap 30 feet? Because that would be falling.
No.
damage.
Swing two
Okay.
to grab onto something to
Sweet.
get down.
Same as Den of Wolves, you're trying to get to your pole then. Sounds like a good
Yeah.
plan. So go ahead and make both acrobatics roll, yep. And you'll have disadvantage as well, so.
Okay. Oh golly. Oh. It's only a
Does it
7.
stand? Yes or no? That's the
That
question.
means it was the nat one.
Yep.
That sucks.
And the only way. The nice thing is it's a check, so there is no nat 20s and nat 1s in checks.
Oh, okay.
That's just rules of the game. That's only for attacks. So it's a 7, is what it is.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm
Well,
gonna let it stay.
So
'cause,
great.
You know.
You
yeah.
go to fly off of this thing. Griffin happens to be flying by and whatnot. When you literally let go of this thing, fall far short of the pole, trying to grab yourself from falling out, everything else, and I would like Griffin to make an acrobatics roll and see whether or not you guys collide.
Thank you. I was
See what
about to. I
happens?
was about to say if I could try to do something there. If Griffin's even seeing this. Okay, so you said what is it? Acrobatics?
Yep.
Okay.
You see what happens when you're drunk, dude.
Hey, I've been doing pretty good. This fire. I mean, I shot everything I was aiming. Oh, well.
Griffin goes sailing over to catch you, opens his wings as you fly like 3 feet below him, totally missing you. He like rolls over on his back to catch you, but he was a little too quick, and you just right by him. And you go sailing down
Thanks
towards.
a lot.
That's not gonna be traumatizing.
Blaze, what are you doing down below? You can have seen some of this happen.
Well, I'm just going to try to follow
We
through with my
knocked out of
contract, so I fling my whip to grab that last candle and throw it at Griffin.
Okay. Griffin's
Okay.
sailing over towards you. Go ahead and make an attack roll,
What's a
buddy.
little more fire going to hurt?
That's true. I
What do
still
you
got a
want me to- What do you
plan.
want me to do?
I would like you to make an attack roll. Okay, so here's that little guy that he's just slapped across the face, and now he has again this little tea light candle strapped to his head, and that's your roll, right? An 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a botch to grab a friend, right?
It's a what?
On your whip of entanglement, you have to botch. Is it a 5 or below?
5 or below, yeah.
Okay. So, literally, your whip goes swinging over this thing, not grabbing it at all. You're like, poof, trying, and you miss again. And looking over, the Arakocra seems totally dumbfounded. He's like looking down at his feet, where now you see why he was flying so erratically. The Ranger's falling out of the air. You want to try once more for your candle?
Yeah.
I'll give you a bonus attack on it. So there you go.
Golly.
We're going to give you I'm going to raise the DC since it's a bonus attack. So yeah, you're missing on this one. So, yep. So wham! He cracks once, cracks twice. Den of Wolves, what are you doing?
Did I get to the ground?
Sure. I like it. You had caught onto the pole, so you're good.
Yeah, I
You
just
just
try to
took your
get
arm a
down
little
and try to figure out if there's buckets of water. Try to follow the flailing gnomes, and try to do something about all this excess fire.
You go
Holding
over
my
to
pants up.
where Griffin was making steam from all the buckets and whatnot, and you start throwing these buckets over, washing towards the flame that's in the middle of the ring. Now the major flame is on the other side of the ring. In fact, I probably should have asked that first. Let me recant, just in case. Were you going for the major flame, the explosion, or the ring in the center, or the?
The ring in the center, because I feel like I could do something about that. I don't think I can do anything about an explosion.
There you go. So yeah, you had sent all this water over, and as you did, it is effective. It washes out most of it. Only some of the oil floats on the water, but for the most part, you're very effective at getting more of this water. And your encouragement actually bolsters up some of the other little gnomes to go and grab more and be bringing their stuff as well. It's great as you see this. The others see this. Anna, you're going to have to roll for falling damage. I'm sorry, you missed out. Griffin, what is going to be your intent?
Okay. So my intent at this point is, unfortunately, the show must go on. So seeing that explosion, Griff is not on fire at the moment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so his intent is to, at the moment, seeing things are kind of out of whack, plenty of fire. He's gonna shape water, because that was part of his plan. So he's gonna shape water from these barrels and turn the color of the water red, because why not? And then aim, shape the water to the explosion site, the biggest flame that he could see. So hopefully it creates some good steam.
Okay. I think there's a range limitation on your shape water and whatnot, and for the amount of volume you can do. You can do 2 effects.
Okay. Within range, it fits within 5 foot cube. 5 foot cube, yeah. So I have to be within, yeah.
How many feet?
Well, no, I was gonna say, do I have to be within 5 feet, or is that how much water I have?
The 5 cubic feet is what you can bend. So you can grab a tub of water, but the question is, what's the range? Is it touch?
You choose an area of water that you can see within range.
Yep. What's
the
range?
Range.
I think that's 30 feet. Yeah.
30 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're flying over through the air again. She was falling, the 30 feet down and whatnot. So zooming over to one of the buckets, not a problem for you. It's just movement. Again, you're a bird. You don't have to roll for that. So you fly over there and you start bending this water within 30 feet with you as you fly over, turning the water red as you splash it into the flames. Trying to wash out some of them and whatnot. And again, this explosion of oil has covered people. You're throwing water on it and whatnot. So, this bucket went up. And that was it over there near the side. And you throw water on it, and you're trying to create some steam and whatnot as you do this. Katrin, I need you to roll 3d6, please.
I already did.
Oh, great. I didn't even look. So you take 9 falling damage as you hit the ground.
Oof.
Yeah. Hey, at least you made it.
I got the wind knocked out of me, man.
Yeah. Comes crashing to the ground, rolling, getting up. Blaze, it's the top of the round. This little gnome has turned around kind of bewildered as you kept cracking your whip at him. And I don't know if he's looking around in panic or whatnot, but it does give you a free opportunity attack. And while that's a melee weapon, I mean, hey, you can technically use another attack and try and grab that candle. It's a free one.
The roll.
And literally, as this gnome is looking around bewildered about whether or not he should grab water or whatnot, the whip cracks out, grabs this candle, and then goes for the fling. Make another attack roll at the back of your Arakocra friend.
Don't light him on fire.
This candle goes flipping through the air, and suddenly, as you're bending all this water on the others, you realize you're on fire. All just whoosh, right along your back as you go up in flame. The flaming phoenix is born.
Oh, God. Out of the death of many. Jesus. Oh, my God. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Griff is so, intoxicated, and so occupied with, maybe I should put out that fire, that he doesn't at the moment notice that his wings are now on fire. So, unless he could feel it, of course.
Boy, did it get hot in here.
Yeah, that's weird.
You don't take fire damage, but you can feel it.
Yeah, it's quite warm. Is there any more buckets or barrels of water, or did we?
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty. It was designed for you to keep going around, generating all this steam.
All right.
You were going to be this cyclone of steam before you disappear. Of course,
disappearing
might be a good thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So Griff is gonna once again. I'm assuming that fire is definitely not out from the explosion. So is gonna go to the nearest barrel of water again, doing maybe a little bit of flare because why not? He loves flying anyways, and shape that water, and hopefully if there's anybody in the crowd that's technically on fire right now.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah, so he wants to shape that water into the crowd, with hopefully reaching them.
You realize that the circus also is prepared for this. Fire is one of the most dangerous things at the circus, and others are bending water, others are producing water. Some of them are actually pulling out little magic items that are part of the circus's thing. They are trying their very best. What they can't control are the individuals who are now panicked, trampling others and whatnot. And the fire is spreading and whatnot because it's just this massive explosion. You're bending water as quick you can. What are you doing during all this, Indiana Blaze?
I'm just going to assist at this point. I've done everything I've signed up to do. So now it's just time to get some
it's all business.
water flow going. If I can help out any of the people in the crowd, then that's where I'm going to go first. Prevent loss or injury of life.
Now, if you can only communicate that to your Arakocra friend, fulfill your contract, make us disappear. Yeah, because I was about to say, the two up top did their contract. They amazed, they astounded, they shot things. You put out
We were
flames
good.
and
You
whatnot.
guys, I don't know so much.
Action packed.
It is a memorable circus, a circus to remember. You're down below. You start helping out. You guys quickly get the fire in the middle under control, washed out by them bringing in buckets. Others have started to do their thing. Anna, you're still up and about. What are you doing?
Well, at this point, fog has water in it. So I'm going to make a
Yeah.
fog cloud.
Yeah, fog burns off a little too quickly.
Quick.
But
But I
hey,
have,
mist starts pouring out from you. Is that a what? First
I
level
get a
spell?
good 20-foot radius.
So amidst
Yes, first level.
all this,
So 40-foot diameter, 20-foot radius.
Now everybody's blind as well.
Great.
disadvantage
No, the
on
mist will
attacks.
burn off quick. Hopefully it will put out the fire and, dissipate.
So suddenly
Sounds
all
like
the
a good
workers
idea.
who are it's literally like London fog thick, billowing out from her, obscuring everybody's vision and whatnot. Den of Wolves, what was your intent?
I'm gonna go try to rush around the crowd as nimbly as possible and try to assist anyone
In getting
who's
their-
getting knocked over, the small people who I'm sure are just getting thrown around. Just try to pull people into places where they can stand for a minute before anyone gets too severely hurt by someone else.
The heroic Mike rushes in and starts helping people up. I want you to make an opposed athletics check as some people in panics try to shove you out of the way too and whatnot. You find people that are shoved down into the bleachers, some people who have been walked on and whatnot, and I'm going to roll from my end here. What do we get? 6. Hey, that's pretty good. You beat it, buddy. You got an 8. I got a 6. You're able to shove these people off. You end up getting this woman who had come with her grandchild safely back to her feet. The grandchild that she held under her. Now free, as well as you get them rushing towards the door, encouraging others. All 4 of you work hard at this to try and get it under control. And finally, with the help of the circus employees too, the flame is stopped. There's damage up the sides of the tent. Most of the people have left, and by the time you emerge from the tent, the final individual's out. Most of the tents and most of the circus is scattered. There's all those that are gawking and watching, but nobody's making money hawking their wares anymore. It's just damage. There's still a little bit of smoke.
I don't
from
think
the
they're
top.
going to help us get to the heavenly city now.
Then there comes, about 20 minutes later, the request in the form of multiple circus employees coming around you, wanting to take you to Arimathea, and none of them look happy in the slightest. Even Gronick, who had waved at you earlier and seemed so friendly when he was leading the elephants, this massive muscle man, is there as well. He's probably the most peaceable of them all, saying, look, you got to talk to Arimathea.
In the background, Griff is seeing that nobody's happy. So he's still kind of in the air right now. So he's just gonna go ahead and just kind of shape water onto his wings and maybe make him disappear for like half a second and just enjoy the moment of like,
Thinks
oh
he's
god, I'm invisible now.
Yeah.
I'm not part of this.
The flames had only lasted, again, before the oil burned off, which you had known as part of the show, would be about an hour. These ones seem to last a little longer. You don't know why, but you end up dousing them and whatnot, disappearing above. You can easily, as they surround your friends down below, have flown away if you wanted to get some distance and disappear. Or you want to stay with and be part of your friends' conversation.
We're a team. We must stick together.
Yes,
You
we
go
all
down-
feel that way right now.
Do you go down and walk with them, or?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and ground myself.
Walking at the slower pace, the four of you are brought to Arimathea's tent. No longer are the shimmering screens bright gold with the joy of what was coming, but they're back to
If only we
their...
had Robin to blame it on.
Damn.
Right?
Robin learned Firebolt. It was not me.
Robin, you are the sacrifice. This is why we don't talk about Robin at the campfire. You're able to get into the her tent. They part it, and then she's very, hey guys, glad you could make it. Thanks for coming in. And she tells everybody else, no, go away. And you see them, they're kind of glad. She's like, oh no, go away. We're fine. Gronick stays for quite a bit longer. She's like, Gronick, I told you, go away, shoot. And again, she's like all 5 foot tall with her high heels, man. She's like, go away. And the big man kind of, will they be okay? He says, now that if you leave, yes, go away. And finally he goes off, and she invites you to see. She goes, what happened?
I'd like to know
Somebody-
that as well.
Gave him alcohol? As I point to Griff.
Well, yes, but yes, my aim happened to be a little bit too good tonight.
Uh-huh.
That's, little problem. Not the alcohol at all, though. No.
No, of course not.
Nope.
She goes, the Emperor's men were here. This was our staging show for our first time to be able to get into the Heavenly City. Why? You appeared so good. Why would you do this? What happened?
Well, my question is, what was a barrel of oil doing in the fire show?
What barrel of oil? What are you talking about?
Well, clearly, water doesn't explode.
You just said your aim was too good. What did you...
I must have hit something.
He was hitting every barrel. Then yeah, one of them exploded.
She seems really curious and whatnot about what you're talking about. And then she says, you know what? Let's go take a look together. I should have had the circus music going.
God, that's a horror of people on fire. Oh God, that's a picture.
Yes, I picture you setting everyone on fire.
Hey, you know what?
She escorts you guys back to look at some of the damage together. She wants to hear your side of this. And going over to inspect the barrel, it doesn't require an investigation roll or anything else as you start looking. It's very clear exactly what Griffin's talking about. By the way, you can see the way it's spread out, where the fire is, that this is the central ignition point. And the way, by the time they were able to bring it in, washing it out, and again, that carried actually some of the oil elsewhere. But you can tell exactly what happened. She reaches down and you see her rub her hand on the ground and then sniff it a little bit, and she goes, it is oil. That's not right. She goes,
One sabotaged.
It's not my fault, guys.
she looks and she
Yeah,
says,
because even without him being drunk, if he was aiming for every barrel, he probably would have ended up getting that one.
she looks around, she goes,
Baby.
but this wasn't an attack on the circus then. This is where the Emperor's men were, over in this section.
Ah.
Ooh.
I wonder if there is people here that don't like them very much.
But we're family, no. This is something we wanted to do forever. And it's only circus employees that bring all of this out.
Well, would you say the population necessarily likes you? More of the political type?
Long con? I'm going for a long con.
Mm.
She goes, what do you mean, long con?
It means somebody who has a beef with the heavenly city got into the circus and just waited and waited and waited, and you had no idea.
Who better of an scapegoat than the circus?
Mm-hmm.
Or a new crew that was brought in. Let's set them up.
She seems to think about it for a few moments. She goes, either way, this clearly isn't your fault. She pulls out a whistle. Actually, she doesn't pull out a whistle. She just puts two fingers in her lips, and you see her belt out this whistle really loud. A few moments later, some of the other circus hands come in, and she tells them the names of individuals that she wants to talk to immediately. You guys are continuing to look at everything. By the time these individuals get in, there's the bearded lady, there's Gronick, and two others in here, four main individuals that come in, and she starts going over all this with them and says, we have somebody who's betrayed our family in our midst. And she looks to all of them, she goes, we're family, how do you want to handle this? She goes, it's not their fault though. She goes, they're innocent. And they actually, some of them don't believe either and go over and check, but it's undeniable. That's the problem. There was enough water poured on here that you can feel the oil still in the soil, still in the wood, and whatnot. One of them does suggest that possibly you guys had done this, that you had put the barrel of oil there, but she's very quick. She's like, no, they didn't have anything to do with setting that up. She goes, I'm the one that sent all the orders and had all this set up. They didn't bring any of this. This is part of the show. We designed this for the water. So she really goes to bat for you and makes sure that the others know. But here's the problem, she says. There's no way the Emperor will ever let us up there now. The idea of the Heavenly City is gone. And then the bearded lady actually is the one that says, unless it wasn't our fault, unless it was their fault. And
Who, us?
You realize the discussion now is about throwing you on the sacrificial
throwing
fire
us out
and
under the
taking
bus.
blame.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. That might get you up to the Heavenly City, but if you don't know who really did it, and they possibly really actually want the Emperor, and you actually get up there, and it happens again, we won't be there to blame. So you're better off figuring out who it is.
And Gronick's the one who goes, even if it was them, it was a direct attack on the Emperor. So one of two things will happen. And Gronick's the one that puts it together. He goes, look, either the Emperor doesn't show up, at which point we're not going up there anyway. He goes, or the Emperor does see it as an attack, but then he wants their heads. So unless you're planning on, and he looks to Arimathea, on trying to blame them and let them go, which would make us all guilty, he goes, we have to figure out who this is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right around then that one of the gnomes comes running in, whispers down, Arimathea bends over, listens to him and whatnot. She says, the Emperor's men are here.
Shite.
Do you have anyone with any kind of connections, no matter how far back in their past, to the Heavenly City and the Emperor?
She looks, and again, the others are there, and the leaders all tell you, everybody comes to the circus with a past. We're all leaving something behind. She goes, I didn't ask you a whole lot of questions about your past. We make a contract for the days ahead.
Yeah, but if you're that close of a family, somebody might have said something. You might know of somebody.
She looks to
Hey,
the
Sean,
others.
per our conversation last week, have I already had a encounter with the Emperor?
No, no. That was, remember we talked about that in the background. I was like, uh, um, we can play it either way, but my understanding was a no because that changes a whole lot of things if you are.
Okay, just
So the
asking.
question is, I'm going to leave it to you right now. I can run it either way. Do you want to be
I was
somebody?
just kind of curious as to how this was going to move forward because I said I'd leave it up to you either way, but you never got back with me.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I thought when in my response when I said I didn't plan it that way, my intent was a no, as I put in
Okay,
the chat
then we'll run it
messages.
as that.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Um. That could be very interesting, but the individuals that come in are soldiers. Two individuals who look nothing like soldiers, aren't bearing any weapons. That same samurai that you saw previously, who walks
Is it
in
Sujihara?
and comes to talk to all of you. The group seems to defer to the samurai. He doesn't address you directly at all. The two individuals who appear to not be soldiers are the ones to come and find out. And a lot of the same conversation that you just had with Arimathea and the others is recounted, and they want to verify certain things as well. They come to the same conclusions and actually make the accusation against the circus while you're all standing there that says the circus has clearly tried to attack the emperor because an attack upon his people, and they're not referring to the lower caste system, they're referring to the individuals who came to watch the show in preparation for the Heavenly City. An attack upon any of his people is an attack upon him. And that's where you can see the other four getting really nervous. Arimathea seems to keep her calm a little bit. But each of you make a perception roll for me. If you get above a 12, you can notice what it is. I don't mind telling you in advance. It's... Alright, so
Woo!
Wow.
Right.
So there you go. Nailed it. This is the first time that you've seen Arimathea not mess with her hair as she's talking to all of them. Like, normally she's pulling out things, pushing hair up, doing that. Just part of her thing. But when she talks to them, not at all. It's just like stoic, more peaceful, just none of that. No sudden hand movements at all. She chats with them and says, we would never harm the Emperor. We're here at his request. She goes, we're trying to investigate right now and figure out exactly what happened. She's going to try and make a persuasion roll. Do you guys have anything that you want to add that might adjust what she's telling them? Any ideas?
I'm willing to throw in the fact that, since I don't think she's mentioned it yet or not, depending on where this is, if it's near like a wall of the tent, the fact that possibly someone not related to the circus at all could have snuck this barrel in. We have no idea how it got there.
I just want to reiterate the facts that, obviously circuses make their money by being able to perform. So they're not going to want to, if they were going to try to do some type of attack against the Emperor or his men, they're not going to do it within the circus.
Yeah, they don't want to ruin their own stuff.
Plus, it put too many workers' lives at risk, and you don't want to open yourself up to being liable for the crowd that's there as well. So
I've got two individuals coming up with ideas. How about you, Den of Wolves? How about you, Griff? Anything that you want to add?
Oh,
to
Griff hopefully keeps his mouth shut.
I'm stepping in clearly it wasn't the circus as a whole because my fellows here and along with many of the staff here were countlessly running around trying to put out the fires as fast as possible. Why wouldn't we just let it burn if it was an attack and leave into commotion if everyone was in on it? Someone clearly by themselves planned this out and not everyone.
Griff?
And Griff goes over top of Den of Wolves after saying that if we wanted them to burn, we would have let them burn. And Griff is going to go ahead and say, plus, we could have easily just kind of disappeared if we wanted to. So, yeah, I agree with that. My cat friend over there. Also, listen, I'll be honest. My firebolts are not that powerful. I couldn't have possibly done that on purpose.
Okay. So everybody has chimed in trying to affect her. I will give her advantage on the roll. Okay. As she does, she talks about all this, Griff chimes in. You guys give your own intent, trying to show that it's definitely not an attack upon the Emperor himself. So then they have the obvious question, if not an attack on the Emperor, then why have it happen? Clearly, somebody wanted this to burn down. Why? Why here? And since you have involved yourselves in the conversation, you are now part of this larger group that they are interrogating. And all of you are quite aware that the other soldiers, you are kind of like within not a ring, it's not like an aggressive, they have their spears out, but it is clear that they have the advantage on any attacks that they make. Their weapons are out, and
Most of us don't have them because we couldn't pick them up. Someone made us lose most of our weapons anyways.
Somebody just threw their weapons away. Look, we can just throw many daggers. We don't need arrows and daggers and things. Oh my.
Well, it could be someone who just wanted to make the circus look bad. I can't speak for the difficulty on bringing in this and pretending to blend in and make it look like they were supposed to be doing it, but if someone was to just walk along with a bunch of barrels and not inform anyone what they were doing, they could sneak a barrel in here.
You guys are all good with that?
Griff is also gonna reiterate, plus, you see a carnival come into town. They're clearly from out of town. So it's the perfect kind of disguise to do something like this. If somebody was wanting to make a statement, this would be the time.
I'm going to give one more roll. If what you say is correct, and they're trying to make a statement, then perhaps there is something we can do. Perhaps we can catch these individuals. If their statement is to burn down the circus, then they would try again, wouldn't they? Before they have a chance to go to the Emperor. And they look to Arimathea and say, you take responsibility for the circus, yes? And she goes, I am the circus master, yes. And again, she's very, very serious. She goes, very well. Your family, as you call it, stands ready to pay the price. If we capture whoever it is that is trying to make a statement against either your family or the Emperor, then your family is innocent. If not, then clearly your family is complicit in our opinion. You have one more show scheduled? Yes. And she agrees. They were hoping to be able to do two, actually, the one in the morning, and they were supposed to do a special performance up in heaven. And he says, whether you get to heaven or not, in this life or the next, will depend upon what happens at the show. He goes, you have our permission to hold the morning show. Capture whoever this is, and we will welcome you into heaven. If not, then you will be accursed into the darkness forever. With that, there's a quick discussion privately with them, with the samurai, and then they end up leaving. Arimathea breaks it down for her, obviously, cadre of leaders, a small group, as well as you. Because they have the questions, they're verifying what they think it is, and yeah, she verifies, yeah. Basically, their lives are in the line now. They either catch whoever did this, or their lives are forfeit. There's a couple questions about do they think they could get on a boat and maybe just leave tonight. And she says no. She goes, the Emperor would never allow us. And somebody else, Gronick, says it would be an admission of guilt if we try to run now. And she actually looks to all of you and says, you're not part of the circus. Technically, your contract was only for this one night. She goes, and we can either choose to extend you into tomorrow if you want to stay, and we can write up a new contract for a performance, or you can part ways now. The choice is yours.
I can't speak for the rest of them, but I feel that it's a personal slight against us as well. So, I mean, me personally, I'm all in to help out in any way that I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know about necessarily performing in the morning circus, but I would certainly like to help figure out who did this. Because, I mean, we could have died. Hello. But my problem is knowing what a close-knit family you are, and they would see us as outsiders, I'm not sure if we would be much help.
Mm.
A little bit of redemption would be nice.
So for those of you that are watching on the Twitch screen right now, what I did was I put in the circus map that we were going to be using earlier to show you what the big tent looks like a little bit and give you a little bit of an
At least
idea.
before it burned down.
There you go. I just want to give you a little bit of the idea and the scope of what you can see. So on the left side of the screen over here is actually an entrance. I'm going to have to drag the picture because Roll20 won't let me do it otherwise. So there you go. So over here is the main area where they bring in all the circus tents, or excuse me, all the animals and things like that. Up here on the upper left is actually where the explosion was and whatnot, right here on the screen. So that, as you can see, as it went out, it just exploded all over. Blaze and whatnot was putting on the main show down here. And of course we had our two high top performers right up top. And of course we had Griffin going all the way around everywhere. You know, sometimes he was over here, sometimes he was putting out flames. But it gives you a good feel for where they came in and out of. The Emperor's men leave back to the south once more, heading out from the tent where they had come in. Just want to give you guys a little heads up on the display. So
it was definitely near a door.
Interesting.
So Arimathea thanks all her friends and invites you back to the tent. And once there, she sits down with you. She says, so then what will be your final decision? Will you choose to stay with us for one more performance? How will we root these individuals out, or will you leave?
The problem is if we stay, we might want to revamp our performance to not include fire, sadly, thanks to the person might try again.
She says, well, we've already promoted the Flaming Phoenix.
Yeah,
so
I
she
know.
was trying to change his show. She goes, how we light that fire might be different. She goes, but trying to change that last minute could actually run more damage as far as the circus is than anything else. Changing an act usually disappoints an audience. And now you can hear her theatric side of herself, focusing more on the performance in the show.
Den of Wolves and I, we can certainly keep our performance the same because ours did not include fire.
Well, sustaining the fire act means that there's less unpredictability in what this person might be doing. So if we keep the fire, we can almost guarantee that somebody's going to mess with the fire again. So we'll know where to look.
Oh, we might be able to try it with a little less alcohol this time.
Listen, listen, I didn't necessarily ask for it, but it was given to me by people I wish to not name at the moment.
While you're still talking, some music starts in the background off in the distance. It's a lone flute playing, and pretty soon it's joined by some others, and you hear some slow singing. And Arimathea describes, They're mourning those who died and were injured today. She goes, we may only be visitors to this town, but to have such a tragedy at the circus is unthinkable. Our family is built to bring joy, not to bring pain. And so we mourn with all those here in the City of Shadow. She goes, will you need lodging for tonight?
Most definitely.
Aye.
She makes some arrangements for you to share a small tent. It's meager, it's humble, it's tight, but most things in the circus are. In the meantime, once she shows it to you and she has some chats with the mothers and food will be provided and whatnot as a thank you, she tells you that again the take of what the circus made was barely enough to cover costs, if that. So she can't pay you for tonight the way she had hoped because the circus got cut short. But what she
Free lodging is nice.
She appreciates that with a smile. The fact that you're acting like family. And in the meantime, she says, well, I have to go to the wake. She goes, you're welcome to relax here or join me at your leisure. And then with that, she starts departing. It gives you an opportunity to talk on your own first.
Well, folks, I think I might pass on the wake. I think I have to go find Robin and let him know what's going on and where we'll be staying for the night. Otherwise, we're going to lose the little bugger.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. Did he
We
come
need-
watch the show? We did send notice to him.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
I've been one of the bodies they dragged out.
Oh,
Oh my.
maybe. Oops.
I feel like it's that we killed Kenny every episode. Robin has to die. Shove him out of this. Robin was there in the flames.
Yes.
It did smell fried chicken.
Oh, no.
Oh my.
Fred
You
can't
might have been
Um,
smelling Griff though.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that seems more like it.
We're definitely gonna need to figure out. If we stay here, we need to figure out who's going on. Otherwise, they're gonna drag us down with them. And clearly, whoever was planning it tried to set us up. So I mean, they got a
Right?
few issues to deal with them.
That's one of the bigger reasons why I think it's somebody in the circus. They thought, ooh, new people. If we do it now and do it with their show, we can blame them.
Perhaps we can ask some questions around and see who has some maybe grievances against the circus, but also maybe even up north in heaven, the Emperor.
While everybody's off at the procession or whatever they're doing, why don't we investigate the site and see if we can come up with anything on our own?
I like that idea.
It's possible. Might find something.
Okay with that.
So you're not going to go after Robin right now. The four of you are going to go back to the site, correct?
Just yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go after we're done investigating.
Wonderful. Just want to make sure that I keep things straight so I give you the right answers. So you guys head out and go over to where the back in the tent, and the circus workers have already been hard at work. You can see where some of them, even though all the tools are left in place now, pretty much there's only maybe 2 individuals in here who aren't at the wake. And there's some of the more labor individuals, who probably were told it's imaginable that they had to stay and work. The sounds of the morning are far away from you now, probably 3-4 tents at least, and you're inside of this massive central tent. When you get there, you're at the site. What is it particularly you're looking for?
Any clues that maybe, I don't know, that'll lead us in a direction to find out who brought the barrel in, or who directed the barrel to come in, or had some kind of ties to the barrel?
Griff would like to go speak to one of the maintenance workers right now.
Okay.
Ask some questions.
Yeah, really just, if it was, modern day CSI type stuff, it'd be things like fingerprints and things like that. But D&D wise,
Yeah.
not sure what kind of evidence
Is
but
the
we'd
substance
be
that was
looking for
inside the
that.
barrel the same stuff that they were using elsewhere, or did it come from a different area?
Right, things like that. Like possibly if we could tell maybe where the barrel was made, compare it to the water barrels, and see if they were made by the same person.
And as you start discussing that, Griffin tells you he did notice something different about this barrel, which guides you into some of the investigation, some of the little bits of wood that are left and whatnot. I'd like each of you to make an investigation roll for me, please. And then, depending upon your roots, we'll give you some answers on what you find. Ooh, Blaze, it's the hat. Griffin can't even remember that he told you something about the barrel.
That's true.
He seems completely surprised. It is like, wow, the barrel's different.
He started looking for the barrel and then remembered he dropped the flask.
Wait, what is that flask again?
Den of Wolves, you actually found the flask.
It's
Although
not going
Griffin
back to you.
recognizes it.
Damn it.
Some of the things that you find out as a group as you're sharing all the information with one another is that the barrel is made of an entirely different wood. That probably might not be too unusual. Again, barrels would probably be made for whatever they're holding, except for the fact that this entirely different type of wood is incredibly dense as well. You would think that for such a massive barrel, you'd want light wood as long as it seals and whatnot, but there's something about this wood that seems more than a mere keg, more than a mere used to carry oil or water.
With our military background, do we think it was to make it more like a bomb rather than just as a way to carry the oil?
You gain 5 plot points. You realize that this is military made. And it's military that is actually familiar to, well, actually, yeah, because all of you did your training together. You've seen this same type of barrel before in the military. I have to make a quick adjustment here and give you your plot points. And then we'll also give you... Wow, you guys figured out one of the major ones right off the bat. Nice.
Well,
don't know how that happened.
It was that 21 investigation, of course.
Of course it was, yes.
Yeah.
What the heck? Why is that not popping up?
I don't know.
It's because I have you guys in the wrong spot. That's why. Never mind. Hold on. Cancel. I need to move. I have Brock's and yours switched. I was like, and I don't remember what plot points Brock had, but I just gave him 25. Whoops.
He would have had 20 then, because...
All right.
If you gave him 5.
Did I just do it again? I just did the
Sure,
Brock should
tackle
have
another
20.
25. It's all good.
Right?
Just leave it. Just leave
Why
it.
is
It's
it
fine.
not switching them?
Don't know.
I'm literally switching them, and it's not going back and forth.
Fate wills it so.
Oh, I know exactly why. I know why. There we go. Never mind, I got this. Everybody watching is like, what the heck's going on? Sorry for the breaking the wall there. All right. OBS solution solved. So you found out about the barrel. Let me look at your other numbers. Griffin, you figured it out. There's a over near where the original gnomes were, where they were, remember the ones with the candles and whatnot?
Right.
Some of the candles that Blaze was putting out have been knocked off their heads. That was part of the whole show and whatnot. One of the headpieces there with the medium length candle, you realize is actually an explosive ignition device, specifically built to light oil on fire.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. I take that. I bring it back to the group, show everybody, and say, well, this doesn't look like an average candle, does it? Strange.
They are going to pretty much try and have this happen with or without the help that we ended up giving it.
Correct. It was going to happen no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the gnomes must be in on it.
Oh, did Griff get a chance to talk to one of the maintenance workers that was still here?
Yes, I would like you to make a persuasion roll, please.
All right.
And that will influence what kind of questions and what kind of responses you get. And then I'm going to get over to Den of Wolves, who found more than the flask.
Nice.
All right.
Very nice. All right, so what is your first question? What are you looking for, brother?
Well, who was in charge of bringing out the barrels?
He looks and he goes, that would have been, let's see, it depends on if the barrels are filled in advance or not. He goes, if they're filled in advance, he goes, we'd have to have some of the animals to move them and whatnot. He goes, if they're filled afterwards, he goes, could be any of the hands that were here setting up the tent and whatnot, as we bring water in from elsewhere. He goes, really would depend on, he goes, you'd want to talk to who was setting up the show first to find out which way they were setting up.
Mm.
He goes, you were all the headliners tonight, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
So, what did you ask for? Did you bring your own water and whatnot, or?
Oh no, this was all showrunners. It's none of ours.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, he goes, we probably would have been using our own. He goes down at the maintenance shed, and he talks about the place you went and the other where you were talking about what was available, and they asked what kind of show you wanted to put on. He goes, I would talk to them and find out what was requested. Was it just barrels or was it animals? That would be the individual who could lead you into knowing what was used tonight, whether it was filled or not.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information. That certainly gives us a good picture of what's going on here. And then he walks away.
Den of Wolves? On
Yes.
some of the barrel bits, there's a round burn mark. It takes a few pieces of the wood to put it all together. But this round burn mark, you realize, is a seal. A guild seal. So chances are this would either be the people who either made the barrel or who owned what was inside it.
Yes.
You can make a history check to know if you know this guild seal and who it is. You're pretty sure this seal is a royal seal from the city above. It has some clouds on it and whatnot, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is one of the royal city seals.
I'll try to bring it over and show it to the group, and like it seems like this may have come from heaven. I'm not sure if it's the contents that was there or the barrel was made up there. I'm not quite sure, but someone must have brought it down, so it's looking less and less like just the circus to me.
Seems like maybe, perhaps somebody from up above decided to come down and see the show.
So
Yeah,
the
we-
Blaze
You're still drunk,
realize
aren't you?
No!
Of course not.
the one that was carrying the candle that looked like a ignition piece, is that the one that he whipped across the face and left a mark on his face?
It's not, because the one that was the smallest candle, and that was the one that actually flew all the way over to Griffin and hit him. And the more that you look at this, you don't need to make an investigation roll. You realize what Griffin's talking about, that this could light a fire. Any candle could. You're like, yeah, sure, it's an ignition source for flame, but any candle would be. So there's really like nothing different about this headpiece at all, other than he's suspecting that the gnomes clearly must have wanted to light a fire, and it was a bad investigation roll on his part. You're able to help him out, though, and be like, okay, yeah, it's a candle. It lights fires. Yes.
That was totally it. Yeah.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Stop drinking. Stop drinking.
Never.
Blaze, did I give you your investigation results?
No.
Hold on, let me roll on my table real quick. You got on your investigation a 16. And could you do me a favor and roll D4, please? A 4. You actually discover what looks to be over in these stands where the explosion happened and whatnot, a set of burned footprints into the ground that lead away, as if the individual was both on fire and moving at the same time, but the weight must have been incredible because they're pushed so far into the ground. By the time they get outside the tent, you can't track them any further. But the individual was clearly either carrying something very, very heavy and whatnot.
Are they large footprints, small footprints?
Normal sized footprints just pushed into the ground far too far.
Distinguished
What's
hoof prints or shoe prints?
They are shoe prints of a humanoid, human. You guys all wear similar.
Biped.
Yes, bipedal humanoid creature. Maybe carrying something. Don't know, something heavy and whatnot.
Either they were really heavy,
but they
or
were on fire
carrying
at the
something
same
heavy.
time. And that's the interesting thing that stands out about them. Not only were they lugging somebody else, but there's like little burned charred marks on the bottom of the foot, on the side of the foot. Very odd.
So maybe we should check and see who checked in at the first aid tent.
Oh,
It's a valid option.
right.
Do you have any
Let me
other
check it though.
questions, Griffin?
Go
for your
offer
person?
our healing.
Oh no. As far as he knows, he's got everything he needed.
We should go offer our healing services at the first aid tent.
You guys head over to the healing tent together and whatnot, and there's an individual there. This happens to be a older woman who is human, just straight human, long hair, older woman. She talks a little bit about the fact that she couldn't go to the wake and wants to know from all of you how it was, because she hears the music still playing in the distance a little bit. And she goes, did something happen there, sweeties? Do you need me to,
We haven't been able to go there yet ourselves, but see, I kind of fell 30 feet during the performance, and,
Oh, sweetie, I
That
heard all
hurt.
about that. She starts touching your arm and whatnot, looking at the scrapes and the bruises that are coming. She goes, oh, sweetie, I'm surprised you're even walking around. She goes, you must have banged yourself solid. She goes, but a good frame, and she rubs all over you. She goes, really, you should fix some of these buckles and whatnot, sweetheart. She goes, really walking around like this. She goes, you look so disheveled. You look so disheveled. Now, most of you have, fixed yourselves up by this time and whatnot, but clearly Anna hasn't had a chance to really just fix quite everything yet. But she brings you in,
Apparently.
starts getting some ointments and some salves, and then looks at the men and she goes, get out. She goes, you're not helping the woman with you standing there.
All right. Because we were so interested, and I just turn and walk away.
So,
Before I walk out, I ask, how many people came to the tent, and how many were injured, and start asking about their injuries.
She stops what she's doing with Anna so that she maintains Anna's modesty and whatnot, and says, oh, sweetie, we all ran to the big tent. Once we hear about that, we don't wait for people to come to us. We go to them right where they are and whatnot. She goes, people brought stuff from here, some of our medicine kits and our bandages and stuff, but we go to where others are needed. She goes, this tent's mostly set up for if somebody gets injured during the circus itself. Like if somebody gets hurt, they fall, they get separated. We help little minor boo-boos. But really, if there's an emergency, we go right to them.
Did you notice anyone with injured feet?
Injured feet? Well, she goes, there was a lot of burning. Let's see, we helped some individuals there with their legs and things like that. And she goes through a whole long list of various injuries that she's had. But when you start focusing on somebody whose feet were on fire and whatnot, and really tailoring the questions towards that, you find out she hasn't treated anybody like that, nor has she even heard about anybody who specifically had feet that were burned or on fire or damaged like that. She describes quite a few different wounds, and you ask about, people who were brought in specifically, because if somebody was carried out, and there was also nobody brought in. Again, they took care of everybody there. And when they got back here, there was nobody. If somebody had been injured as bad as what you're saying, where they needed to be carried out, she goes, they would have still been here, sweetie. She was probably even now laying in one of these cots. No, most of the damage.
That was going to be my question.
She goes, most of the damage that was there, she goes, we took care of with the few healing spells that we have. She goes, Arimathea keeps some things just in case. She goes, and she leans in, she goes, she even keeps a couple revivifies just in case something really bad happens. She goes,
see, so no one dies at the circus.
She goes,
Mostly.
She goes, well, and she hears you say it. She goes, well, we did have a death here tonight, sweetie. She goes, revivify only lasts if you can get to them within 1 minute. So she goes, we always keep one handy there. But she goes, when the crowd panicked as it did, she goes, whoever was casting all that magic to damage the crowd, she goes, we never hurt any of the people that come to watch. She goes, sometimes we'll plant certain people in the crowd, and she goes, we'll bring them out and we'll have some fun with them. But she goes, those are always pre-approved in advance. She goes, whoever did this to, make everybody's buckles and tried robbing people, she goes, there was a lot of robbery tonight and whatnot. Which actually brings up to your investigation roll, Den of Wolves. I have a whole treasure list of things that you found while you were looking around that, just people dropped and lost and whatnot.
Nice.
And we're figuring that you were nice enough to pick all that up for the lost and found, and whether you want to turn that into her now or maybe later, is up to you. I don't want to steal that from you. Do you want to give that all to her now?
Yeah, I'd give it to her now.
Okay, so you actually have all these items that you found, and she's ever so grateful, but she tells you that the Phoenix gets inspiration. She tells you that you'd best give that all to Arimathea.
Woo!
So you already have inspiration, though, Phoenix. So
That's correct.
It's on the screen. So who do you want to give your inspiration to?
All
The
right,
only one
wonderful.
that doesn't have it is Den of Wolves.
I was going to say.
Oh man, I'm gonna give it to Brock anyways. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course. Take it.
Like the trickle down method is all coming down to Den of Wolves one way or the other. There we go, Mike. You now have inspiration as well.
Yay.
What was funny was you guys didn't use inspiration when you were doing all your acrobatics, this, that, the other thing. I'm like, Brock never once, hey, I'm going to use inspiration now. Whip this candle. And
we embrace chaos.
Right? It was going to be what it was going to be.
Exactly.
Clearly. Having gotten your fill from the healer, you realize again that the person wasn't here. Where would be your next stop to investigate?
Well, Griff is gonna bring up the what the maintenance workers said by saying, I actually do have one bit of information. We might want to go check out where we maybe told the person what we needed. I don't know if you guys remember their names. I certainly don't. But we might want to go there. That's where the battles were, apparently.
Are we still
Equipment tent.
at the first aid?
You can be,
Yeah, I just want to ask her if she knows of any creatures that might have extraordinarily hot bodies or
Or that
feet.
are very heavy.
Well, I'm sure there's a bunch that are heavy, but I'm
Yeah.
also possibly chalking that personally up to carrying something too, but I'm really more concerned with the fire part.
Well, we
Any
have,
hot bodies around here?
But yeah.
she goes, well, we
Hot
have quite a bit
bodies.
actually for carrying things. We use the elephants and whatnot to carry. We also have some other beasts, some cattle, some oxen. She says, but when you're talking about, you describe this because you're looking for one solid creature. She goes, well, we have some bigger individuals. And she mentions people like Gronick, who leads the elephant. She goes, look, there's a big guy and whatnot, but hot, temperature-wise, and you get towards the burning. She goes, one saw a tiefling who could pretty much stand in flames. She goes, he was part of the show for years. She goes, and flame just didn't affect him. She goes, it was awesome. She goes, we would throw things on fire and all this, and that was part of the show. She goes, he would actually put on some of that fire. She goes, the same as what you were supposed to have tonight, sweetie. And she points to the Arakocra. She goes, and he would come out all covered in flames. She goes, and sometimes if other flame got on, she goes, he just wouldn't be damaged. She goes, but he was pretty skinny. He was a pretty light individual and whatnot. She goes, had to work on his tail once and whatnot. Got it caught in a door. She was really bad and whatnot. She goes, he couldn't whip that thing for like a week and a half.
Do you know the name of this individual?
She was a teenager. She goes, oh, let me think. Oh, wow. She goes, it was a couple years now. She goes, he had a really funny name. She goes, because he didn't really use it around other people. She goes, but oh my, hold on one second. Let me see if she can remember. She goes, she goes, while he was here, she goes, they all called him Sparks. She goes, but that wasn't his name. She goes, that was just some of what he did. Light fire a lot. She goes, that was his show. But his real name, strange little fella, was Auspicious, that was it. Auspicious was his name.
Wonderful.
Real odd individual. She goes, liked to play with gadgets all the time. She goes, they called him Sparky because he had this, like, these things that he carried at his side, and as he would use them, she goes, he shoots sparks out for like 30, 40 feet. She goes, and we all thought he was a wizard at first, but he wasn't. It was always his gadgets and whatnot.
Interesting.
Real friendly fellow. Always looking for stuff, looking for gadgets and whatnot. I think he got bored because, he traveled with us quite a while looking for things, and then, oh my, it was our last trip up. We were gonna head north. We were gonna head north when he just decided that his show was done at that point, and he went and made a deal with Arimathea, and she cut him loose, and we lost all Spark's show. But that was years ago. Oh my, long time now.
So it wasn't necessarily quarrelsome separation, was it?
Oh no. He wanted us to travel some different places, but we'd already been, we'd done our full circuit and whatnot. So, it's really up to the circus master that decides where we're going to go now. In fact, we were supposed to be going up to the Heavenly City, and that was so exciting. Oh, I was really looking. She was, always wanted to be up in that Heavenly City, but she was, don't know if we're going to get there now after what happened tonight. She was, I don't know, maybe in 100 years or so. And she laughs.
Blaze wants to go check some of the tents and stuff around the main area where the fire was, because perhaps if this person that we're looking for was carrying someone who was either injured or on fire or dead, they might not have been able to carry him out without being seen, so they might have stashed the body somewhere.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you that you, Griffin, and Den of Wolves are going to head in that direction because she still wants to doctor you up, Anna. If you want. These guys head ahead. And,
I'll let her doctor me up because I can sit there and talk with her a little more and maybe find out more info too.
I would like you to make a perception roll for me, please, Anna. And you gain back from her medical healing 11 hit points. I don't know if that puts you at max or not.
It does.
Yeah.
I only lost 9.
Okay.
21.
Nice.
There is something about when she's talking that you catch, and you realize exactly what it is. As she's working on you, you happen to move your arm out of the way and brush some of her hair, and she has pointed ears. This is not a human. This is an elf. A very, very old elf. You have never seen one wrinkled like a human before.
Ooh.
But the elvish ears are
I'm
clear.
like,
She doesn't talk like an elf or anything.
do you mind if I get personal and,
Well, sweetie,
and I make sure she
you're
can see
the
my
one not
ears?
wearing clothes, and so it's about as personal as it can get.
I was just wondering, how old you were.
She goes, well, and she pulls her hair back tighter and puts it into a bun so that it covers the ears better. She goes, I'm sorry about that.
I make sure she can see my ears.
Yeah, I saw you point to it and whatnot. She's like,
Yeah.
Well, sweetie, I don't rightly know anymore. She goes, I've been walking around for a long time and whatnot. She goes, can't really tell because, they don't really measure years when you don't have other people around. She goes, there were seasons and rivers and things like that, but she goes, that's kind of my. You know, I used to be the old lady of the show. That was what I first did here. I did. That was a long time ago. I suppose I'm still the old lady of the show.
You know?
She goes, picked up a few things along the way, though. Learned I can do a lot of healing with herbs and other things now.
That probably comes in handy.
It does. Because wish I had some magic. Always wished me had some magic. She goes, that's never been my gift, though. She goes, supposedly it's in the blood, just flow right out of you. But she goes, I'm guessing mine must have flowed out a long time ago.
I show her some dancing lights and a few other very mild cantrips to have fun with.
She, oh, you're one of the new generation. Oh, aren't you precious? All that magic just flowing through you. She goes, what that must be like to just feel it come up inside you and flow out. I've heard it described so many times and whatnot. Does it take a lot of study or does it just come natural?
It depends on the type of magic.
She goes, well, I wouldn't mess with no more of that fire and whatnot. Probably wouldn't make a whole lot of people happy. But that lights that you got going on, those are pretty.
I don't typically use fire magic.
Probably good. Fire tends to get people burned and whatnot. Unless you're Sparky. Sparky to heat and get burned for nothing.
Right?
I'm going to cut away from you and get to the other three gentlemen. And we're going to walk them up to where they're headed. Where was your destination?
Some of the surrounding tents from where the main explosion was at. See if there was a body stashed anywhere or any clues around in the outside areas. Around where we tracked the feet prints to before we lost them.
Well, the footprints, like I said, just shortly after getting out of the main tent, they disappear. You can't track them beyond that and whatnot.
So we want to check any tents or buildings out just beyond that.
That's fair enough. Easy to do. Around some of the other buildings, again, staying away from where all the mourning is happening and the lamentation, because people might ask, why you're over here. You get over near one building and something does stand out. There's a crying child. Do you wish to approach or do you wish to continue searching elsewhere? There's three of you there, so.
I'll start to approach if I...
Might be wiser to send the cat over as opposed to a dragon or a drunk.
Yeah.
I'll start to approach the building where I hear the crying or the tent, whatever.
You can actually see the child crying, sitting outside of a tent near the edge of the circus, and you move up closer to him, and he kind of does that, looks up at you, with all your... I don't know how many weapons you have visible and whatnot. Describe yourself a little bit. I mean, when you walk up, what does he see?
Especially right now, there wouldn't be any weapons visible because I haven't picked up... Well, I guess I did pick up my 2 daggers, but they're strapped towards the back, and I have a cloak on, so you would be hard.
Hopefully you fastened your pants, too.
Yeah.
Make sure of that, please.
I had to fix my pants upon getting down so I could help people. No worries.
There you go.
Otherwise, I'd be tripping, falling
everywhere.
It wouldn't be much help then. So yeah, I have the black cloak and I have some fairly fine clothes underneath the cloak, but the weapons wouldn't be directly visible. And I have leather armor, so leather armor laying over the fine clothes.
How do you want to approach him? What is your intent? Later?
Just to gently approach and do hey buddy, how's it going? Are you lost? What's wrong? Why are you crying?
Okay, so you do the gentle approach and whatnot, trying to make friends. Make a persuasion roll for him, and you've come on your own, leaving the Dragonborn and the Arakocra at a distance.
Persuasion.
I probably should have put that on so that everybody could see it. Sorry about that. And why did my dice rolls not pop up? Oh, well, that would be why. There you go. Wow, 22. Beautiful. You quickly find out in conversation with him, what's going on. He tells you precisely why he's crying. He guaranteed some information. He's actually one of the locals. He's a young boy. And he was guaranteed some favored seating in the show by an individual if he told this individual about the stairway to heaven. So he goes, I told him where it was, drew him a little map, how to get there into the dark and whatnot. And he goes, and then wasn't allowed into the show. And then I made friends with somebody else here. And, my friend went in. He was this black bird looking for his friends. And after the show, all I have are these burned feathers now. And it seems like nobody's willing to pay me and nobody's willing to help me. And my friend's dead. And he holds you up these black burned kenku feathers.
Everyone has to move on to their better place. But I can promise you that if you come talk to me and give me a little more help, that since I performed in the circus, that I can get you great seating and actually give you seating. And you can see behind me, and I kind of just crouch down a little bit and point at the big bird and the giant lizard, and see they're with the circus too. So you can come
he looks
with us.
And he goes, That's Indiana Blaze. That's Indiana Blaze. I recognize the hat. Clearly, he wasn't able to see you all the way up at the top from whatever seat he was, at least not wearing a big cloak and whatnot. And, during your show, you weren't letting the cloak get in the way. Do you want to, reveal your awesomeness to him now?
I see the kid pointing, and I hear him say Indiana Blaze, and so I slowly approach, and I, pull my hat off and set it on his head and say, how are you doing, little buddy?
The kid's face lights up as the two of you do this, as he reveals himself, and he looks at you, and he's like, just kind of jaw dropped, and he's like, oh my gosh, that means all of you are part of that bird over, he's the amazing flaming phoenix. And oh no, did she die? Did she die in the fire?
No, she didn't die in the fire.
I swear he goes, I was rooting for her to shoot down more things than you. I hope that's okay. She shot two at the end, though.
It's okay. It's perfectly fine. We're good friends.
You quickly win over this kid. He's in dumbfounded amazement as Anna sits in amazement of the oldest elf she's ever met in her life. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight, having burned down part of the tent, but ending in amazement. I want to thank all of you for watching and joining our adventure tonight. It has been so fun to be here with you all. We hope that you'll tune in and enjoy the show next week. And the idea that nobody dies at the circus has now been proven false. Somebody did die. But we also know why nobody dies. There's revivify stones and other things. So the circus is dangerous, but we take care of our own. Hopefully we're going to take care of this little boy too, who we've just met. Thank you all for being here tonight. Let's go figure out who we're raiding really quick. Hey, from all of us here at Plot Points, God bless. Whatever table you're at, make it the best table possible. May it be a table where you make amazing friendships and even better memories. God bless, friends. Happy gaming. Raiding now.